And you're in the studio with the Treasure Coast Car Guys and your host, Steve Friend. Welcome.
Good morning, Veronica. How are you?
A little flustered.
Oh.
Cameras going on.
We're busy here this morning.
Yep, well, it's all good. Today we have Gary, who's back with us.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Gary.
I'm back.
Healing beautifully. He's got his cast off, and
Getting there.
fortunately, everything appears to be going rather well for him.
Except for the physical therapy.
Now,
Other than
that's
that,
always fun, right?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Uh-huh.
But it's working. It'll make me better.
Yeah, and those
It will.
therapists know their job, too.
They do. They love to hurt you.
Well, thank God you're getting better.
Yes, I am.
So today, I thought that we would talk about a couple of topics. Some we've spoken to, but not in this detail in the past. So first, I'd like to talk about pre-owned / used cars. And we have said previously that approximately 45 million pre-owned cars are sold on an annual basis, which is almost 2.5 times how many new cars are sold. So clearly, it's the largest retail market out there. And when we say 45 million pre-owned cars, we're not only speaking about dealership sold cars, we're talking about independent dealerships, and we're talking about private sales as well. But clearly, it's the biggest market.
So do they come up with those numbers based on title changes and things like that? I mean, it should be pretty easy to
Registration.
keep. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, registration. So it's a pretty accurate count.
Okay.
So what is really important for the listeners to understand now with pre-owned cars is that you have so many different choices. And when you narrow cars down as far as what you're going to look at and what you're considering buying, we can't emphasize enough the need to take a very close look at the certified pre-owned cars today. And all manufacturers do have them, but they have them with varying warranties. Some are powertrain warranties. Some give you a little extra maintenance. Some extend the original factory warranty. Some are very rigid testing when the car goes through the shop to make sure it's almost perfect. So I wanted to talk and really gear the conversation more towards the Lexus certified pre-owned cars, which are now called L certified. So Gary and I, on the way up, we were just sharing some thoughts about the rigorous testing that goes through to make sure that these cars are really the best pre-owned cars on the market today. So Gary, that 163-point service testing, why don't you get into that a little and share with the listeners exactly how in-depth and why Lexus goes through such depth to make sure that these cars are so good?
Yeah, very good point. We look at a lot of automobiles on the course of doing business on a daily basis. We look at a lot of cars that people have purchased from, and this is a story. We were going to tell stories today, and I'm going to tell a story about people that buy these used cars, and they're not pre-owned certified cars, they're used cars from independent car facilities. They do not go through the rigorous inspections in order to pass and be labeled an L-certified automobile. And we've seen cars that come into a dealership that have had a lot of structural damage to it that our dealership and most Lexus dealerships will not sell because we run Carfaxes and car checks, and we've got our certified Lexus technicians that go over the cars with a fine-tooth comb or go the 163-point inspection. It's a very rigorous inspection process, and the car is pretty much like brand new when it goes out and puts on the front line to sell it.
Gary, it's very important for everybody to understand that you can only get a certified, L-certified Lexus automobile from a Lexus new car franchise.
That is correct.
Now, the reason why I say that with conviction is because a lot of independent agencies out there and other brand agencies sometimes highlight their cars as certified. Well, that is an in-house certification that they just put a little star on the window or on the little warranty badge, and it means that it went through their little
So it met
inspection
their
process.
standard.
Their standard.
Okay.
The Lexus standard, as pretty much everybody knows out there, okay, since 1989, is not only light years ahead of everyone else's standard, but it is the standard. And as a matter of fact, Auto Trader, which is probably the biggest and best well-known publication, periodical, and also internet provider for pre-owned cars, has stated that Lexus's Certified L program is unquestionably, unequivocally the best program on the market if you're looking for a certified car.
So, in other words, I can't come and get a different make car that is L certified,
That is correct.
but I can buy a used car from your lot that is not necessarily a Lexus.
Yes.
But it's just it doesn't have that standard.
That
Well,
is
it goes
correct.
it goes through the same almost the same process as an L certified car does through our shop, but we can't tag it as L certified
Because it's not a Lexus.
right. It's not a Lexus.
Okay.
A couple other points. That the reason that the inspection process is so rigorous is because Lexus puts a bumper-to-bumper warranty on that automobile, so they don't want cars out there that, of course, that we're going to have to spend a lot of money on to try to fix after the fact. So the cars have to be perfect. I think we spend an average of about $2,000 on every car that comes through the back shop, getting that car or more, getting that car ready to be put on the front line. Another point that I want to make this came up last week, I believe, is that you cannot buy a used automobile from an independent lot or anybody else and bring it to a Lexus store to get it certified. That car has got to be certified. We have to either we take it in on trade mostly, or it comes out of our loaner fleet. We certify the automobile and then we put it out on the lot. We can't certify a car that has not been purchased or sold through our dealership.
Now, another
So when it's certified, it's yours
Yes.
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 before you sell it.
Now, another thing that Gary had said, as far as the rigorous 163-point check, it's not just about the bumper-to-bumper warranty that you get. So, Lexus would extend the original factory warranty on an L-certified vehicle up to 6 years, and that is a bumper-to-bumper warranty on the car. However, the best part is that it's an unlimited mileage for that period. So if you're one of those people that drives 50 or 60,000 miles a year, and you're fortunate to get a late model L-certified car, let's say with a 5-year timetable for warranty, it's theoretically possible you can put 250,000 miles on that car,
And it's
it's
still
still
under
under
warranty.
bumper-to-bumper warranty.
That's great.
So that is a claim that nobody else can even come close to. And in addition to that, you're also getting complimentary 2 years of factory maintenance. Now, it's not just an oil change or a tire rotation, because at different intervals, let's say it needed a 40,000 mile service, it'd be hundreds of dollars. So it's with filters and a whole host of different things. So whatever the factory in the owner's manual recommends for that particular mileage, okay, that service is free.
So belts and hoses even.
Belts and hoses, if they're yes,
Within the
pretty
warranty
much.
period,
Yeah,
yes.
as long as
It excludes normal wear and tear
Yeah.
items such
Okay.
as tires,
Sure.
brakes, that type of thing.
I think batteries is one other thing. Batteries
And a battery.
Batteries are not covered either. But that certification process, that car's got to be brand new. It's got to be brand new before we'll put it back out there on the lot.
So I have a great story
Here we go with
to share
stories.
with everybody. No, this is really, really a fun story. So about a week and a half ago, we had a really nice husband and wife came into our Lexus dealership on the Treasure Coast, and we had in our pre-owned showroom a 2015 RC 350, which is the new sport coupe that came out in 2015. It was a sparkly red car. It had 3,000 original miles.
Wow, it's brand
It
new.
was a one-owner, elderly driven. She wanted to get back to a four-door sedan. So we took the car back in trade, and we sold her another car. So we went ahead and put this car through the shop, and obviously with 3,000 miles on it, and we were the original seller, we still needed to go through the process, which we did, and we certified the car. So that car had a 5.5-year full bumper-to-bumper factory warranty with unlimited mileage plus 2 years of maintenance. Now, the interesting thing was that the people were torn between buying the new one that was on the showroom floor or buying the certified pre-owned. And which do you think they bought?
I would think the certified pre-owned.
And you probably know the answers why. And you were set up well. So basically, the brand new Lexus comes with a 4-year, 50,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty and up to 50,000 miles. So this car, which even though it was a year older, had a 5-year warranty.
But it wasn't even broken in.
I know. But here they saved several $1,000s. They got 1 year more warranty than they would have if it was a brand new car.
Okay.
They got unlimited mileage, okay, on the warranty, plus they got complimentary 2 years maintenance. And before they left, they also bought a couple more year to extend the time of the warranty, which you can do. So it's not necessary to extend the mileage. For example, in the old days when you bought a pre-owned car and it was not certified, you would look at an extended warranty and decide, well, if I drive X amount of miles, how does that equate to the years? And then you would look to see what the best application would be. Well, now you're not really buying anything about miles because as long as it's under the timeline of warranty, it's unlimited miles. So I think they purchased another 3 years, so they ended up with an 8-year unlimited mileage warranty on that car.
So they'll probably be covered until they come in for a new one.
Or they just keep driving it and driving it and driving it. So, and that was a purchase. So they're probably high mileage drivers, number one. And it just made really good sense because it was several $1,000s more than the new one, even with the cost of the warranty, because you're just buying time, you're not buying miles.
Less, right? You
Yeah.
said less.
So it was significantly less than the purchase of the new car. And it was just very interesting. And we were talking about that in our sales meeting. And that's why it's so important when people come into our dealership that we want to share all the information that we possibly can about the new cars. But when we have comparable L certified cars, it's very critical that we share and let people know that this is another option.
To become L certified, does the car have to have a certain amount of miles on it or under?
It has to be less than 70,000 miles.
Okay.
And it has to be no older than I believe it's a 2010. It's 7 years.
Yes, 7 years.
Right.
Okay.
So January 1st, the oldest car that we're able to certify would be a 2011. So this is something that is the fastest growing segment in the automobile business. Now, not just with Lexus, also our Toyota store has seen a huge bump in the sales as well. And really, if you read any of the periodicals, you can see that this is one of the hottest areas in the business right now. And it really makes a lot of sense. And some of the captive finance sources like Lexus Financial Services offer special finance rates almost to compete with new cars as well. So, for example, you can come in now and buy an L certified, either an IS or an ES, and get 0.9% financing for 60 months, along with unlimited mileage.
Okay, so that's changed because normally you think when you finance a used car, you're paying a higher rate. I mean, that's just the way that it's always been.
Well, you know why it's been that way?
I'm not really sure.
Because you pay a higher rate with a higher risk with an older car.
Okay.
So the older the car, typically, you would be paying a higher interest rate.
But the risk is whether or not I'm going to make the payment.
Well, that's the whole thing, because keep in mind, let's say you bought a 5-year-old car. It wasn't a certified car. There was very, very little warranty left on the car.
It's got mechanical problems.
And then it's got a mechanical problem. You have a 72-month loan.
Okay, so the
and
bank
you're in
looks
the
at it
second
like
year.
I'm not going to pay for it because it broke down.
Right.
Well, they don't want to enter into a marriage in contemplation of divorce.
Okay.
However, it's important that people understand that the older the car, there is more risk involved. Therefore, even with very, very substantial credit, you're probably going to pay a little bit more interest rate.
Okay, now I get it.
Exactly. So another thing that's directly related to these certified cars, most people don't realize that most new car dealerships, and I'm just going to speak for ours right now, both Treasure Coast Toyota of Stewart and Treasure Coast Lexus, we are extremely high volume tire dealerships. And most people always think that you got to go to a Tire Kingdom, you got to go to a Tires Plus, or you have to go to Sears, or you have to go to one of the tire outlets to get the deal. Well, that is a complete fallacy in today's day and age. For a dealership that specializes in full circle service for their clients, they do sell tires. And tires are not a high profit environment for most car dealerships, for any car dealerships, because we compete vehemently with these other tire sources. But the advantage is that we buy the tires from the very, very big tire suppliers on more of a global worked out deal. So it's not like Treasure Coast Lexus going out to buy 2,000 tires at a good deal. There's 276 Lexus dealerships out there that have tremendous buying power that will buy millions of tires within a year.
Through a dealer tire
Yeah.
network.
Right.
Yes. Now,
So
the tire racks of the world, the internet-based tire places. Misconception with that is that, oh, I can buy those tires a lot cheaper on Tire Rack. Well, you can, but then you're going to have to pay for shipping, and then you're going to have to pay for somebody to mount and
Yeah, I was
balance
just
them.
going to say, if I buy tires online, who's mounting those tires to my
exactly.
wheels? Yeah.
And we've even had clients call up and say, hey, I'm going to buy these tires from Tire Rack, and
Will
I
you
ship
put
them
'em-
to your dealership. No, you can't do that.
No.
You know, it's kind of like I remember when synthetic oil first came out, and I guess the main player in that was Mobile One.
Yes.
And people would come in and say, look, I have a case of Mobile One in my car. Would you, I paid for the oil, would you go ahead and change the oil and just charge what the regular labor would be? Because they didn't want to pay for the difference in the price of the oil. So there are people that truly believe that they're going to get that deal, okay, by buying it online. And yes, you can buy the tires a little bit cheaper. However, when you factor in everything and look at the big picture,
Yeah, but you better set that up ahead of time, because I'm
Right.
not sure that you can just roll in anywhere and go, I've got my tires. Can you
well,
just put
normally
them on
when
the
you buy it
car?
online, they refer you. You type in your zip code, and it will refer you
Okay.
to a place to put it on. So there's really no
Never in a
savings.
million years did I think you could buy tires online. This is something
Oh,
new
yeah.
that I've learned today.
Yeah, you definitely can. There's a lot of different ups and downs about doing
I'm
that.
feeling sorry for the delivery guy.
Yeah.
I know.
So here is the cool thing about tires now. So let's say you're driving a Lexus and you want to do homework on tires. Instead of going and Googling and going through all these different things and looking at all different companies, you can go to www.treasurecoastlexus.com, click on tires, and a very simple, our website is extremely user-friendly. You just click on the model, the year, and then it will give you multiple options for tires, including pricing.
See, I'm very weird about my tires too. I like original equipment. So I would be, if I was driving a Lexus, I would want the exact tires that are supposed to be on my Lexus.
Right.
Well, that's a great point. And the reason why we implore people to either go on our website or to call our service writers, or even Gary or myself for that matter, is for 4 basic reasons why you want to do business with a dealership for tires. Number 1, the tires that we sell are the ones that are specifically designed for that make, model, and year. That's number 1. Number 2, we always have them in stock. Always. Number 3, when you buy the tires from us in both our stores, we give 24-month road hazard insurance when we mount the tires for you. What does that mean? Let's say you came in and bought a set of tires, and you pulled out and you were driving, you hit something on the highway, and the tire blew off the rim. We would replace that tire for free. It's a road hazard guarantee. And Gary, I do believe it's 24 months?
24 months.
Correct.
Right.
And the last reason why you want to buy the tires from us or at a Toyota store is very simple. We have trained technicians that we have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to send to school, plus tens of thousands of dollars worth of the most modern equipment that is designed specifically to operate and to work with our cars.
Road force balance machines and the
High-tech
Oh,
machinery.
I've bought tires before and came back with damaged wheels. I mean, I would think that taking a Lexus to a Lexus dealer for those tires,
our tire machines
that's not
are
going to
specifically
happen.
designed to work on our rims and things of that nature.
Plus, okay, so you know, we also sell in our pre-owned departments, we also sell all makes and model cars. So let's take one that stands out, for example, that's a little more difficult to mount, but we do it because we've sold a bunch of these cars. Let's say you have a late model Corvette and you need tires. Well, we're going to be just as competitive as anybody else on those tires, but with the type of machinery that we have to be able to install these tires, we're able to do it on any car. So most cars have magnetic weights that are tapped onto the side of the rim,
Right.
whereas the Corvette has magnetic weights that are sticking onto
Yeah.
the rim.
We use stick-on weights. We have both types, but stick-ons are preferable weights that we put on the car.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to get the damage. If they don't really know what they're trying to
that-
balance with those weights, and
That
they're taking
plus-
old ones off and putting new ones on, and
Yeah, low-profile tires are difficult to mount and balance. Very difficult. We have equipment to do that. And the road forcing, of course, that's a key to match mount the tire to the rim, to where everything is perfectly lined up when the car goes out.
So there's a lot of truth okay, as far as, and just, it's unfortunate that most people just don't know. But we have tire evaluators on our website for our Lexus dealership and also for our Toyota dealership that you just have to go online to our website and click onto tires. And not only will you get the pricing, but it will show you which tires are preferred. And we also have a good, better, best. So, for example, if you're coming up close to the end of the lease, for example, you don't want to put the absolute best and most expensive tire on it because you're only going to have the car for maybe another 8 to 10,000 miles. You might want to consider a mid-grade tire. Now, these are not going to impact the way the car rides or what have you. They are specifically designed, but there's different pricing depending upon the mileage that you would expect to get, what have you. Mm-hmm. And, it's clear to say, and it's funny that you read that there are different tire manufacturers out there that have 50 and 60 and 70 and as much as 80,000 mile warranties. But to be honest, we've never seen tires go more than 25 to 30,000 miles.
Especially here in Florida.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you have the heat, you have
Yeah.
the different roads, and sometimes people put tires on, they mix and match the tires, and it impacts the way the cars drive. So you always want to go back and put the factory recommended tires on the car because that way you have optimal braking power and you have optimal driving, and the tires from the factory are the ones that are designed not only to handle and brake the best, but also to wear the best as well.
Right.
So when people shop tires, I just ask that you shop on our websites, and if you're not satisfied with the pricing on our website, you feel free to call us, and if we could do a little bit better than that, or there are coupons that we have available, we're going to extend those.
Just give us
Okay.
a shot. Give us a shot because we're definitely competitive in the tire market. Tire pressure sensors, we'll talk about that after the break, but that's something important that we have to talk about as well.
And one other thing about when you buy tires from us, we have a tire price match guarantee. If you can find them lower, we will match the price.
Same
No ifs,
make,
ands, or
model
buts.
tire, though.
Right.
Same tire.
Yeah.
Same identical
Apples
tire.
to apples, we will match the price.
Great. So you're listening to the Treasure Coast Car Guys here on WPSL 1590 and WSTU 1450. If you've got questions or comments, 340-1590. Give us a call here in the studios. More Treasure Coast Car Guys after the news. Treasure Coast Lexus presents the 7th Dancing with Our Pals to benefit the Fort Pierce Police Athletic League, Saturday, October 1st, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Sunrise Theater, downtown Fort Pierce. You'll be amazed by the fancy footwork of 10 celebrity pal dancers in this friendly competition. For tickets and information, visit fortpiercepal.com or call 466-0606. Dancing with Our Pals supports Fort Pierce Pal Youth Crime Prevention Programs. PAL, building playgrounds, not prisons. You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
FNN News, I'm Deborah Roberts. Congress is still deadlocked over how to pay for the fight against the Zika virus, and Governor Rick Scott says Florida can't wait any longer. There have been more than 750 cases here, more than any other state, and the governor is in D.C. today to lobby for funding.
So we're going to do everything we can to make sure people want to continue to raise their family here, want to continue to grow their families here, they're safe, and every visitor wants to come here before they go anyplace else in the world.
The Florida Department of Health has been accused of underreporting the number of Zika cases, waiting weeks to release the information, and an overall lack of transparency. But the health department and the governor deny those allegations. Florida Senator Bill Nelson says his chamber had been working hard on a Zika funding measure, only to have the House slowed it down with amendments that had nothing to do with the virus.
The House decides to play politics. So they add something to do with the Confederate flag. They add something to do with defunding Planned Parenthood. They add something that has to do with cutting Medicaid money going to Puerto Rico.
However, Nelson says those amendments appear to have been removed, and it's looking more and more like the long sought-after funding deal will soon be approved. Meanwhile, those who suffer from the Zika virus may also deal with memory issues. Italian researchers have found evidence of Zika impacting the brain of adults. The virus is well known to cause damage to brains developing in fetuses, but the new evidence suggests doctors also need to be on alert for neurological symptoms in Zika patients. And many who are infected with Zika have mild symptoms, and some don't even realize they have it at all. Opening statements are underway in the case of a Central Florida man accused of shooting at former Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman in a road rage case. With news on the Florida News Network, I'm Deborah Roberts.
Here in Florida, ugly green stains from algae and mold can grow on any surface, sometimes overnight. Fences, walks, walls, patios, decks, lanais. You can deep clean them all with 30 seconds outdoor cleaner. No power washing needed. It's easy to use. Mix with water in a sprayer, spray, wait a few minutes, then rinse clean. You'll love the long-lasting results. Trust 30 seconds outdoor cleaner. Since 1977, the original and still the best your money can buy. 30secondscleaners.com.
Have insects such as Asian cycad scale, aphids, or spider mites invaded your plants? Then fight back with organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insects, but it's not harmful to people, pets, or wildlife. Insects don't build up a resistance to Summit Year-Round Spray Oil, so it keeps working every time you spray. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Dunks are available at Lowe's, garden centers, and hardware stores throughout Florida. More than 240 applications have been submitted to a compensation fund for the victims of the Pulse nightclub massacre. The fund has more than $23 million. Jeff Dion, one of the officials administering the One Orlando Fund, says families of those killed will get the largest share of the fund. So far, 46 applications have been submitted in that category. 66 applications have been filed by patrons who were injured during the shooting, and 133 applications were filed by patrons who were in Pulse but uninjured. Seedlings of the survivor tree at Ground Zero in New York are being sent to Orlando, San Bernardino, and France. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum says these seedlings are donated to places that have endured tragedy and showed resilience. The worst mass shooting in U.S. history occurred 3 months ago yesterday at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. The survivor tree was discovered damaged after the 9/11 terrorist attacks and was brought back 10 years later after some care. I'm Deborah Roberts, FNN News. For Doubler
You're listening to the Treasure Coast Car Guys on WPSL Digital 1590 and WSTU Digital 1450. Phone lines are open for your questions and comments. And now, here's your host.
And you're back in the studio with the Treasure Coast Car Guys here on WPSL and WSTU. Welcome back. Steve Friend, your host.
Thank you. So before the break, we were talking about tires and tire sales and how to research tires on our websites. And a couple more comments about the new tire pressure indicators that are on the cars today. So, Gary, what can you tell us about that?
The tire pressure monitors, which are mandated by federal law, they have to be on all cars. Another good reason to buy your tires and have them installed at our dealership is because our equipment is we have the proper equipment to mount and balance tires without breaking your tire pressure monitors. Those things are expensive, and we get lots of cars in the dealership, especially cars that have low-profile tires on them, that someone has. And I'm not saying that all your aftermarket tire places are bad. Most of them are very good, very reputable places. I've got a lot of friends in that business and stuff like that. But I'm just saying they have to be careful about how they mount and balance those tires, because those tire pressure monitors are in the rims. And they break them. They don't know that they break them, and you get tire pressure monitor lights. Also, after the fact, you have got to reprogram the tire pressure monitors to the cars and stuff like that. We've got the proper equipment for that. You have somebody that goes down to a tire store to buy tires, and they don't have the tools to reprogram the tire pressure monitors, and then you have to bring it to us to get that done.
Or you're going to have your new tires, but your instrument panel is going to tell you be checking your tires, check your tires,
yes.
check your tires.
And tire pressure monitors, they do a lot of good things, and that's another topic. The fall's coming, so we need to be careful about that. We also put nitrogen in our tires. When we sell you a brand new set of tires, Even our new cars, when we get them in off the truck, we deflate the tires and we refill them with nitrogen, because the nitrogen molecules in the tires are a lot thicker than air molecules and stuff like that. So when the temperature changes, it doesn't bleed the air out of the tires, so your tire pressure light doesn't come on all the time. Another good reason that we need to buy tires from Treasure Coast Lexus and Toyota.
On the switching of the air to nitrogen on new cars, that's something that we do in both stores and do not charge the client for that.
Correct.
That's number one. We think it's a great benefit. Most people don't realize it, but with nitrogen, the tires do run cooler. The tires will wear longer, and also, if inflated properly, if I'm not mistaken, the average pickup is between 1 and 2 miles per
Fuel
gallon
economy,
more.
yes. Well,
Right.
NASCAR
Fuel
uses
economy.
NASCAR puts nitrogen in their tires for the temperature variations and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I have a question for you, Gary. So when someone comes in and we go ahead and rotate tires, do you have to reset the tire monitors each time?
No, not necessarily. Not on a Lexus car. On some cars, like I know Chevrolets, you have to. Not on our cars. If you take the tires and rims off of the car, then you have to. Yes, you have to do it that way. So let's just say, like, we do this a lot. Some clients are their favoritism towards a different brand of tire is more so than another one. So, and we do this all the time, as you know. A client comes in and wants to buy a brand new ES, and our cars come from the factory. They have 3 different sets of tire manufacturers that we use. We use Michelin, Bridgestone, and Dunlop. Correct. So if somebody goes, well, I like Michelin tires because I have good experiences with them, and the car that they're looking at has got a Bridgestone tire on it and stuff like that, we'll find the identical car on the lot with the identical tires, wheels, and rims and everything, and then we'll take those tires off of that car and put it on their car that they're going to buy. Then we have to reprogram the tire pressure.
That's when you have to reset.
Yes, because they're all programmed into the computers on the car.
Yeah. What I learned about our tire monitors were that they also show you the tire pressure in the spare tire. If you have a full-size spare.
If you have a full-size spare
Wow.
tire, that is
Yeah.
correct, yes. And a lot of places
Yeah,
that
that's
you go.
pretty bad if you need it and it's flat.
Well, a lot of places that you go that do tire rotations or do maintenances on your car and stuff like that,
They
they
don't check it.
know that.
Yeah.
So they'll check the tire pressures on the 4 tires that are on the ground, not worry about the one that's in the trunk, and then you'll be driving down the road and your tire pressure lights come on, and then you'll be at the gas station, well, we're putting the button going, oh, my tires are good, but it's actually the tire that's in the trunk.
spare.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's a lot to be said about having it, because when you go through the sequence of the tire pressure, I found for myself, when I go to like a gas station and put air in, let's say it's at 28 and one's at 27, one's at 29. And I don't know if you've
I
ever
know,
done that
drives me
yourself,
crazy.
to try
Try
to
to match
sit
them.
and make it
Yes.
exactly. So they say, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, Gary, if I'm wrong, that the best time to check the tire pressure is when the tires are cold.
Cold. That is correct. That is correct.
But by the time you get to the gas station for the air,
Yes, they're
they're
hot.
warm.
Yeah.
But see, I'm a real stickler about that. On my car, I've got my tire pressures right in front of me because I like to see, because around here in Florida especially, you're running over nails and stuff all the time. And so my tire pressure monitors are right in front of my face all the time. So when I get in my car in the morning, my tire pressures come on, they're all at like 34. If I've got one at 34 and one at 35 and one at 30, it drives me up the wall.
But that's only because you have that
Yes,
precise number
exactly.
sitting there. Because
Yeah.
without that gauge,
I wouldn't know.
you
You
would
wouldn't
think
know.
that they
I
were all the
wouldn't know.
same.
Right.
But it's true story. It is so difficult for you to put regular air and get the air in the tires to the same. Now our nitrogen machine, you just pull the valve stem caps off there. You plug these things in 4 hoses, and you turn this machine on. It deflates the car and it airs it up, and then
Wow.
it deflates it again and airs it up. It gets all the air out of the tire, but it's precise. If you go in my car right now, I guarantee you that
All your numbers match?
They're perfect. Yes, they're absolutely perfect.
Well, as one of the best service directors
I
in
have
the
a
country, I
button.
wouldn't
Yeah.
expect anything less than that.
I just press the button to make that one go away.
yeah, you can do that as well.
So there's one other thing that I think that is important to talk about, because we see this a lot. People will come in with nails in the tire. Mm-hmm. Now, when there is a sidewall nail in the tire, it's never supposed to be patched or vulcanized.
Yeah, we will not.
Ever.
We will
not do that, because the patch design, the vulcanization, there's 2 ways to repair a tire. One is by a plug, and one is by patch. Of course, the patch, you got to take the tire off the rim. It's got to be vulcanized. If I'm not mistaken,
Right.
they sand
So
it
you
down
fix
and
that
they
from
put-
the inside then?
Yes.
Today it's a little different though, Steve, because now they have a thing called a patch plug. That's a combination of both. It's got a patch, but you do it from the inside. You have to break the tire down. You put it on our special machine, and you spread the tire apart, and you vulcanize it and all that stuff. You scrub it down. You put the glue on it and stuff. The patch plug, it's a funny looking piece of material. There's a patch, and it's got like a stud sticking out of it that we run through the tire, so it patch plugs it at the same time. But along what Steve was saying, we are very meticulous about what we will and what we won't fix. We have a safe zone that we'll fix, and if it's beyond that, we won't fix it. It's unfortunate, but it's safety. Cars, most of the pressure on the tires is on the shoulders of the tires and stuff like that. If you get a nail or a screw or something on the shoulder or the outside edges of the tire, there's better chances of a blowout if you repair a tire like that.
So we will never, ever repair a tire with a sidewall nail.
Never.
And really, it is recommended not to. So if by any chance you're out there and you're at a tire company, gas station, or whatever it might be, and they say, no problem, we're going to plug or patch the sidewall.
It's very hard to find someone who will repair a tire.
It is, especially in Florida.
Yeah.
Especially in Florida.
You definitely do not.
But you don't want that.
You do
Yeah.
not want that, especially on a highway driving, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. That's when the tire becomes most vulnerable, and it's not a good thing when a tire blows off the wheel and you have structural damage and you're driving on a rim at 70 miles an hour. It's very, very dangerous. So we implore everybody to please don't ever, ever patch or plug a sidewall of a tire. It is extremely, extremely dangerous.
It has to be in the safe zone, and if you're not sure about that, what that is, our car care clinic, we went over all that stuff in our men's and women's car care clinic, where we had actual tires in a shop, and we showed them exactly where we could and where we couldn't patch and plug tires.
So, Gary, we are going into the change of seasons now. Obviously, it's not that noticeable in Florida, but we have a lot of people who are coming back from up north, the Midwest. And what is it that when the people come in for their scheduled oil changes now, what is it that you would recommend after the long trip and coming down here, and folks that are going to be down here for the winter months? Is there anything different that they should be doing or considering when they bring the cars in for service in our stores?
Well, a lot of our clients do come from up north. We need to get the car into the dealership so we can check, especially tires. We need to make sure that the tires, a lot of times people up north that don't use nitrogen in their tires will overinflate the tires a little bit. And I used to do it at a Lexus store that I used to run up north, where I'd put a couple more pounds of air in the tires, so when the dramatic temperature changes up there would happen, the tires would lose air. And the most frustrating thing in the world is to go start your car in the morning, and after it warms up inside, you're taking off and your tire pressure light is on. So we want to make sure that the tires are inflated properly down here, especially in Florida, where our temperatures, we don't get cold. And everybody knows that heat in tires, it will increase the air pressure in the tires, so we want to make sure that that's good. We want to check your belts and your hoses and your air conditioning system. We want to make sure that your air conditioning filter in the car is clean and free of debris and stuff like that. We have, and along those same lines, if I can take a few minutes, what we're doing this fall is we're doing what's called a fall rejuvenation event at the store. And any of our listeners out there, if you just mention, and I'm going to put this out there, but you can get a jump on it, any of our listeners can come into the store and say, hey, I heard Gary on the radio say something about a fall rejuvenation special. It's over a $200 savings, this rejuvenation service, and we do very well with it, and our clients seem to like it a lot. It's $388.88, and in that process, what we do is we will do an oil change and tire rotation on your car. We'll top off all your fluids, and including the nitrogen in your tires. We'll do a 21-point multi-point vehicle inspection on the car. That's checking the belts, batteries, brakes, tires, everything else that's in the car. We'll do what's called a complete fuel system service on the car. We will chemically clean your fuel injectors, your intake and combustion chamber, and we'll clean all the excessive carbon and stuff off of your valves. It'll give you better performance and mileage.
May I ask you, at what mileage is it recommended to do that?
To do what, the fuel service?
Yes.
I would probably, since it's a Lexus automobiles, I know domestic manufacturers, do it at 15,000 miles. These Lexus cars are probably good for 30 maybe. But 30,000 mile service on a Lexus, that's your first major service, and that's when brake fluid has to be changed in the car. Air conditioning filters, cabin filters, and things of that nature
Gary,
have to come out.
do you recommend that fuel service though because of the inconsistencies in the gasoline?
I do. Yes, I do. Plus the automobiles today, the way that the engines and stuff are designed for fuel economy, they have a tendency to throttle bodies, fuel injection, direct injection vehicles and stuff like that. They have a tendency to create carbon inside the combustion chambers. When you get excessive amounts of carbon in the combustion chambers and stuff, it robs your car performance and fuel economy. Also, you can have things like pre-detonation, engine knocks, and things of that nature. So you want to try to get that stuff out of there. You want to keep your fuel injectors clean. Of course, that's to increase the fuel economy and the performance of your automobile as well. But after we do all the mechanical work to your car for this rejuvenation special, we're going to detail it. And it'll make the car look like it's brand new. We want to make sure that all the computers in the car are talking to each other like they're supposed to. Today's cars are all drive-by-wire cars. It's all based on electronics. There's no more cables and things like what we're used to. Telling our age here.
So basically, your rejuvenation service is top to the bottom.
Top to the bottom.
Overview of the entire car, the complete operating systems, the
Yes.
tires, the electric. Everything is checked and given green lights once the service is completed.
Absolutely. Plus, it gets a refresh. We detail the car, and we just got a new detail company in there, by the way. And one of the biggest compliments, because my boss is one of the most difficult people in the world to please. I'm not going to mention any names, but his initials are Steve Friend. But he came to me the other day because this detail company, I went out and I got them. And the thing about detail companies is they're all the same. And Steve likes to call them the best of the worst, or what's your favorite terminology for those guys?
Well, what I've learned is we have a detail company that my car, I had it detailed, I had it serviced. And when the car came back, I called Gary on the phone after I was looking at it. And
I thought it was like,
it was
here we
almost
go.
after hours.
Here we go.
And I said, Gary, I
Just
said,
have my
I
car
want you to know
detailed.
that the car was detailed. And I inspected the car top to bottom, inside out. It was unequivocally the absolute best detailed job I have ever seen since I've been in the car business. And I only hope that more and more and more of our clientele base would take advantage of it.
Right.
It's inexpensive, and you can literally take a car, and these guys make it look brand new, and they are perfectionists, and they are 100% up to snuff to Lexus standards for us.
It's $160 to get your car detailed, and it looks brand new.
And it comes out brand new.
Yeah, $180 for your SUV. But anyway, back to my fall rejuvenation special. Also, if you tell them that you heard this on the radio, I am going to personally give you a $25 gift card, same as cash, that you can use on the next service, and it never expires. So just come in and see me, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you.
Great. So, as we're talking about service, a couple things that I'd like to mention currently what we have going on in the Lexus showroom today through the rest of the month, till the end of month end. So it is possible to come into our Lexus store and buy a car, and when I say buy it, just financing it in terms of a lease, where we have a couple of cars right now that you can buy. For example, the IS200 Turbo, which is a 2016 model. It's a $39,000 MSRP car, and you can come into our dealership with approved credit with zero out of pocket and drive home for $369 a month plus tax. I don't remember in all the years that I've been with Lexus that deals are this good. For example, with the CT200H, which is our 42 mile per gallon hybrid mini hatchback, with $1,239 total out of pocket, no surprises, a true $1,239, you can drive a brand new Lexus for $299 a month.
Wow.
And that's
Now,
a great little car,
Yeah.
too.
It's a phenomenal little
Yeah.
car, and it's got all the Lexus accoutrements that our mainstream Lexus cars have, except this one particularly just happens to get 42 miles to the gallon.
Right.
Because it's a hybrid.
A bonus.
Yeah. Our ES350 is on sale for the rest of the month. They start at $329 a month with $3,389 total out of pocket. And let's say you want to come in and you don't want to put any money down. So you can drive away for $419 a month without a dollar out of pocket. So when you look at deals like this, most people don't realize how affordable our Lexus products are. They're the absolute standard as far as luxury cars. However, midstream regular cars, where the average price of a car is between $30,000 and $33,000, people who go in to buy, whether it's a domestic car or a tier 2 Korean car, for example, or for that matter, a Japanese car, you can drive between $300 and $400 a month. You can drive a brand new Lexus with little or no money out of pocket, depending upon the model. So if you wanted to move up and, for example, go into one of the RXs, okay, they start at $599 a month with zero out of pocket. With a small amount of money out of pocket, it's $419 a month. So when you look at these prices, I'm sorry I misspoke, with zero out of pocket, it's $499 a month. So when you look at the sale pricing on our 2016 models, you have to really look at everything else that's on the market and realize that, oh my God, I could be driving one of the best cars built anywhere in the world for the $400
Surrounded by
range.
luxury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also with free complimentary pickup and delivery within 75-mile radius of our dealership. And we'll come and get your car and drop you off a brand new Lexus loaner car to drive. So when you look at all of the things that we have to offer at this dealership, and we're not even talking about the staff that we have, how educated they are, and our selling system is very, very different than 99% of other dealerships out there. We teach, present, offer options. We're not sitting there just to sell a car.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many surveys that I read during the course of business today. And this morning I was actually reading them, and sales surveys, especially the sales surveys, about how professional the place is and how well the people were treated. And the staff is just awesome. They're just awesome.
This morning at 7:30 in the morning, I was walking through the showroom, and one of my favorite clients was sitting.
Was it light out at 7:30? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, this morning it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think the sun was up, barely.
That's an early
It was
day.
a very nasty ride on the way up, though. It was really, really coming down, cats and dogs. So one of our favorite clients was sitting in the showroom, brought his car in for a quick service, and he was drinking a cup of cappuccino, which is his specialty there. And he said to me, Steve, one of the things that is so impressive about your dealership is that it is remarkably spotless. So I just want to take a minute on the air to recognize Jesse and Carlos. Jesse and Carlos do the most amazing job in taking care of our home than you could ever possibly imagine. The bathrooms, all of the bathrooms are absolutely spotless. The floor, the marble floors there's not even dust. You can literally eat off the floor. And, you know, it's very, very interesting where so many people don't realize, but the cleanliness, women respond to that, and they write in the surveys how impressed they were. So all in all, it's so important, but it's nice to be noticed, and I just like to have honorable mention for Carlos and Jesse, because the two of them do probably the most amazing job in taking care of our home for our clients.
They detail our facility.
Yes, they do. Constantly.
And we have a listener on the line. We have Walter. Go ahead with your question.
I didn't have a question. I had a comment. I've been listening to the show, and it's exactly true what they said about tires. They gave me the best price on tires, got the new set put on, was leaving town going to Boone, North Carolina, had a blowout, and they took care of the whole thing. And the logistics of that were a little harder than, it happening around town here.
So how was your trip to Boone, Walter? My family's from Boone.
It was great, absolutely great, and I just want to thank you guys. And it's true, good price is the best price I could have got on the tires, and they did take care of it. I had, you don't have to sign on for this road hazard warranty and everything. They just take care of all of it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we appreciate the comments, Walter. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Walter.
Guys.
Yes, sir.
Listen.
So when you hear that, that's really just a great affirmation, because, see, the thing is, and I'm so glad that Walter did call in
Sure.
We're
to
just
let
not
our
here
listeners
talking.
know.
We're just not here talking. The proof is in the pudding.
The thing is that so many people don't know that we're tire dealers. They don't know what the benefits are. And it's not to take anything away from the independent tire dealers, because there's a lot of business where they do what they do, and I'm sure, like Gary said, the majority of them are good, honest, they have integrity, and I'm sure they take care of their clients as well. But when you're driving a particular brand, whether it be our Toyotas, whether it be Lexus, we believe sincerely that not only can we do a better job because of the technicians that we have and the equipment that we have, but we do feel because of the great economies of scale with all the Lexus stores when we buy these tires collectively, that not only can we give a better deal, but we're going to just throw in that little extra love on the car to make sure that everything is perfect.
Yeah, Walter made a good point. He said the logistics were kind of difficult for him to navigate around this thing, but he got it handled. But sometimes, maybe in Walter's case or another person's case, if you have that kind of a situation and you can't get to a Lexus dealership or something along those lines, I've had clients call me and say, look, I'm in this bind and jammed up, and so what can I do? And I tell them, look, get a tire, pay for it, do whatever you need to do, come back to the dealership, bring me the receipt, I'll give you your money back.
Wow.
And I navigate through our stuff to get that, because I don't want these clients of ours to be inconvenienced in any way whatsoever. So take care of it, bring it to me, and I'll get your money back for it.
And make sure the car is right.
And make sure the car is right, exactly.
Several months ago, I made a statement on the air saying that if you are buying a pre-owned Lexus and it's not being bought from a Lexus dealership and you would like to get the car checked out, we would be happy to do it complimentary. We will run a Carfax for you to make sure that the car does not have, number one, any recalls, and also to make sure that the car was not in any kind of serious trouble. And we will also do a full diagnosis test and go through that car for you to make sure that you're buying the right kind of car.
We can't certify it, but we'll make sure that
it
it's
will not be
up to
certified. We're not
standards.
allowed to do that.
Right.
But at least we can make sure that it's up to standards. Just a community service, because there's nothing worse than buying a car that you bought it off the street, and next thing you know, the car isn't running right. And here's a quick little story. I had friends of mine who came up with a friend of a friend this past weekend looking at cars, and when I went out to look at the car and appraise it, it popped up that were 2 previous accidents that she didn't know about. So not only did it devalue the price of the car, but the type of accident, one of the accidents was disabling where the car was towed away, because it does say that on the Carfax.
Okay.
And she said to me that since she bought the car, she had problems aligning the car and balancing the tires on the car, and there was always a vibration. Well, come to find out that there was a lot of damage on this car, structural damage. So if she would have known that ahead of time, there's no way that she would have bought that car.
Exactly.
So here, unfortunately, she paid more than she probably should have. If a reputable company would have inspected it, they would have pointed that out. And it's not like we're trying to tell someone where and when or not to buy it somewhere, but there's nothing wrong with a second set of eyes to give a professional opinion. We're not going to be sitting there saying, well, you don't want to buy the one that you came in for us to check, you want to buy one of ours. That's not what this is about. This is a community service, really, from our dealership that will give people an opportunity to make sure that if they are buying something, that we could take a quick peek at it.
Well, then
and
it
let
gives
them
them
know.
peace of mind about their vehicle.
And we do it all the time. You'd be surprised. All the time we do it.
Well, we're just about out of time. Treasure Coast Car Guys every Tuesday morning, beginning at 11 o'clock on WPSL and WSTU. Looking for my music here. Tell us where the dealerships are located.
Our Lexus store, which is Treasure Coast Lexus, is located just south of Midway Road on US 1 in Fort Pierce. And Treasure Coast Toyota is about 18 miles south of that on US 1, right in the heart of Stewart.
And you'll be back next week.
Yes, we will.
Certainly
You're
will.
listening to WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU Stewart.